So I'm going to do this while trying to hold the phone. A couple of you guys wanted to know about clipping the puppies. So I'm going to show clipping the face, and then I'm going to do the body. Clipping the face is pretty easy. Once they're dried and very, very poofy, there's Cherry, very, very poofy. She's ready for a clip down. She's never had her body clipped down. We just scissored it a little bit one time. I'm going to do a 10 blade on her face. You can do a 10, a 15, or a 30. The higher the number, the closer it clips to the skin. I'm going to do a 10 blade partially for a couple of reasons. One, it's been at least a month since she's been clipped. So, two, my 30 blade is dull, so I need to get it sharpened. And the other reason is because it's winter, I try to not go to a 30 blade in winter unless we're going to be doing a competition or something and I want it to look really good, because I find sometimes the snow can irritate them if they're a little soft. These are the clip-on combs. You can get plastic ones. They usually come with your clippers. These are the metal ones. These are 100 times better. They are color-coded. This is actually the one I used on Oz when I clipped him a couple weeks ago. I'm probably going to go just a little bit shorter with her. They are all numbered and color-coded, and they go right down to very, very small. So if you only have a 30 blade, you can stick something like this on to get closer to like a 7 in length, and work your way all the way up. So these are a really easy way to do grooming without having to scissor pretty much anything other than the top knot on the dog, but you can even do teddy bear faces and stuff with just the combs. Okay, so I'm going to try and talk through what I'm doing with grooming. I don't have an assistant to hold the phone to tape this, so I don't know how great your view will be. I'm just going to do her face. I'm not planning on clipping her feet because I don't usually clip feet in winter again, unless it is summertime, because I don't like them to get cold feet. I do trim out the bottom of the feet though, so I'm going to do her face first, and then I'm going to do her underneath of her feet, and then her tail. My clippers are adjustable in speed, which I really like, so I'm going to keep them a little lower so hopefully you can hear over me. So, when clipping the face, what I want to do is clip right from the bottom of the ear here all the way forward, and that sets my line. And it also gets that long hair at the base of the ear done. So I hold the skin pretty tight. These are not my usual clippers I do faces with. I have a smaller pair, but I need new blades for it, so I'm going to do it with this clipper. So now that she's used to it a bit, I'm going to turn it up a little bit. I'm just going to move her sideways so I can get in here a little better. I clip right up underneath the eye. I hold it, I make sure she's really still, and I always hold it sideways to the eye, not in or up to the eye, because I don't want to clip her eye at all. Now when I'm doing the mouth, I pull the cheek back with my thumb so the mouth is nice and tight, and you're going to watch, if they start licking and stuff, don't be clipping around where they're licking. So I like to do a couple strokes. Now, on the front of the head here, we do just a little V between the eyes. You don't want it to be very high. When it's too high, it's kind of like a kid whose bangs are too short. It also takes away from the expression on the dog. So the bottom of the V is just at where the point of their eye is, and then it goes up just a little bit. And then you clip down. Always clip up a little bit on the nose because you always get these hairs there. And keep doing this. Now I'm going to take her out of the noose because I'm here and because the noose kind of gets in the way for some of this. Okay. Unfortunately, it's a little bit in your view here. To do the neck, I want to go to the bottom where her Adam's apple is, and I shave up. I do mine fairly wide, so it kind of follows the line right up to the base of the ear. I just find it gives a really nice look. Probably my biggest pet peeve about poodle faces done by pet groomers is that they do not shave low enough on the neck. It doesn't make their neck as elegant. It makes their neck look too short. Again, hold her cheek back with my thumb. And I'm trying to hold her head as steady as I can to give it some support, and so she knows where I'm at. And if the skin isn't stretched a little straight, a little tight, I'm not going to get a smooth clip. So again, on the other side here, I'm going to shave out just underneath her ear, and that helps keep the airflow into the ear. I hold her ear back, and that helps stretch the skin from the ear to the eye, and it helps anchor her head really nice and still. She's a blinker. She's hard to do her eyeline with, especially with these bigger scissors. And I am clipping right up to her eyelash on the bottom there. And I take that throat up there so it matches up. Cherry. She's being a little wiggly. And the other thing to do is check the heat of your blades. You always want to keep your clippers to the angle of the blade against their skin so that you're not digging into them. And that's hard with puppies or dogs who aren't getting used to being groomed, because they will move, and it can be really easy to get a little clipper burn when they move. I don't like going any bigger than a 10 blade on the face because, oh, she's such a blinker, she makes it hard. The lower the number, the bigger the spaces between the blades, you actually have a good chance of clipping something like her eyelid or her lip, or if I'm doing pads of the feet, I don't want to do pads of the feet with a 7 blade because I can nip between the feet. Now, putting her back into the noose so I can hold her. To do the bottom of the feet, I'm going to stand awkward so I'm not in your way so much. All I do is hold the foot and I scoop between all the pads. This is the same thing I would do if I was going to give her poodle feet, but I'm not going to give her poodle feet today, like I said. I provided some links to some of you guys other day for that. This is the same thing I do for my Aussies. You can do this with any dog. You're just taking all the excess hair between the toes and around the pads on the toes so that it doesn't snowball up and carry all that snow in. Okay, and I'm going to do that on all 4. Checking temperature. My blade's warm but not hot. Cherry. Cherry. Good. Now there are ways to hold them for doing feet and gremlin and all that. If I reach over her like this and then pick up that foot that's close to me, one, I kind of give her the support, and she feels just like a thunder shirt that she's nice and safe, and it kind of supports her. And this is a good way of doing it to get feet done as well if you're doing nails. And because I'm going to leave her fluffy in the feet, I'm not doing as careful of a job as I do if I'm doing poodle feet. The more I get on the underneath when doing poodle feet, the better I get when I'm doing the top side of her feet. So again, she wants to turn around with me, so I'm just going to hold from underneath on the other side. A little more control of her body, and you can see she just quiets right down. So then she knows, I've got her. Sometimes you drop your clippers. Try not to drop them on the dog. These are my clippers that I use for body work usually, so they're a little bit heavier in the hand. They're not quite as good for doing this delicate work. So I'm going to turn them off, let them cool down a bit, and I want to talk to you guys about how we clip for the body with using combs. So the real answer for getting a good job on the body is, you can see I've got her coat really nice and straight, and I have it poofed up. So I use my brush, this is my Lay's Poosh brush that I love, to fluff up that coat, and then I'm going to go over it and groom, clip with the clippers. I'm going to fluff it up again, go over it again. I'm going to do that at least 3 times, okay? There's one more part that I'm going to groom on her with the clippers. Now they're cooling down a little bit. Another thing you can do, some clippers run hotter than others, make your blades hotter than others. If you have an ice pack out, you can snap your blade off and then let it cool down on the ice blade pack. And that makes it a little easier to do. So to do a poodle tail, I'm not going to clip her tail and her sanitary till I clip her body. And the reason for that is because she's got so much hair, it's really hard to get in and do the tail the proper way. So I'll do a little clip of doing that at the end after I do her body. So the other great thing about using combs versus using a blade is when the comb is put on the dog, I'm going to go, I think, 1 step shorter for her than I did Oz in, just because she's got a ton of hair. I'm going to make sure my blades, my comb, my one comb here got bent a little bit, so I'm going to get it straight. These metal combs slide through hair a lot better. But once it's on here, you'll see the blade actually doesn't touch the dog. So if you're using combs, you don't have to worry about your blades getting hot because it's never in contact with the dog. So that's why if I only have one blade and I want to kind of just power through and get a dog groomed, which you see, I'm going to do my fine stuff first that I'm going to use with that blade, and then I'm going to do the body with the blade because with the comb on, because then that way I've got a bit more time and I don't have to wait so long for it to cool down. So I'm going to start my clippers back up. I don't have a really good view to show you guys, so I'll see if I can get her to stand kind of sideways. So, kind of standard thing we do with poodles, if I'm going to do a top knot that's scissored on her, I don't want to go all the way up to the neck. So I leave an area right here that I'm not going to clip. But I'm going to start just going down her back, double check. You got your comb on and your right blade size. I did that to Bella the last time I groomed her. She got a little short spot because I didn't double check. And I'm going to go through and do just my one stripe down her back.